Well, good morning from Mount G's. Today I just want to continue the series we started, walking through the Bible, looking at who God is and how we walk with Him. So last week we looked at Genesis 1:1, where in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, talking about how God was here in the beginning, how whenever the beginning was, God was there beforehand and God set it all into motion. God created all that is. Today, continuing on, so Genesis 1:2 through 8. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. And so at the beginning of creation, we see a couple things about God. The first thing we see is in Genesis 1:2, that the world was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So here we see that God is present and active, even in the darkness, even in the chaos. God is present and He is active. The second thing we see is how God creates. So we see that in the beginning there was God, that God was present and active, and that God created. And the Bible tells us, it doesn't tell us when. Again, it doesn't matter when. What matters is that in the beginning, God was there. But the Bible does tell us how God created. It said He spoke. Then God said, "Let there be light." God speaks, and there was light, and there is. What God says is. The third thing that this part of the Bible tells us about who God is that God creates order. So in the beginning, the earth is without form and it's void. And the Spirit of God is hovering over the face of the water. So water represents chaos. And in the chaos, God brings about order. It says He called the light day and the darkness He called night. And there was evening and morning, day one. And then day two, let's separate the waters below from the waters above. And He creates the expanse, heaven. He creates the sky. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning. So God creates an order to things. He takes what is chaotic and He brings it to order. And the final thing we see about God in this section is that God saw that it was good. It says God saw that the light was good. And then with the expanse, God saw that it was good. And so what God makes, what God speaks into existence, what God creates is good. And so Genesis 1:2-8 tells us that God is present and active even amongst the chaos. Even in the darkness, God is there. And God is not still, God is moving. We see that God is powerful, that He speaks with the word of His mouth. He spoke all this into existence. He spoke light itself into existence. We see that God takes the chaos and He brings it to order. And finally, we see that what God makes is good. May the Lord bless you and keep you this week. May you seek to know Him better, and may you seek to walk with Him daily. This is me signing out from Mount G's. Again, if you're in the area, you want to meet up to learn to walk with God together, shoot me a message. Until next week, I hope that you are well, and I hope that you come to know God more deeply.